All right, should be up and running here. Both platforms should be live. We've got about 3 minutes until the close. All right, so as we start working through the market bias for tomorrow, should be able to see what the closing price is. Let's go ahead and get started. Good afternoon. This is Ifan from the Strategic Day Trader, and this is your market wrap for May 16th, 2022. Q's down 1.37, SPY down about 0.5% there. All right, and just to keep it complete here, IWM down 0.7. Coming into today, bearish on the Qs and SPY. We outlined where we would need to get to in order to no longer be bearish, and that would be over this resistance here. We outlined that a few days ago just because we were looking like we make a little bit of a bounce, but in order to have a bounce that is actually going to break the downtrend, that's what I would have to see. Okay, and we also talked about anticipating the daily sell setup, all right, which is what we are getting here now. We got the low there, the higher low, and just a little bit of a higher low. We would like to see one more higher low, but because today's range is so narrow, I wouldn't be surprised if we break today's low tomorrow. I was looking for maybe a daily sell setup, something maybe closer to the 20 MA, which we still could get if we don't move a lot in the next couple days. But I did say, maybe Monday we'll have the sell setup. That would be the earliest. And by putting in the inside day, SPY broke out by a little bit, but didn't. But spent most of the day in the previous day's range, and Q's entirely an inside day there. Okay, so still bearish going into tomorrow. All right, and really the same approach applies. If we break out over this resistance to the left, then we can talk about the next breakout, the next buy setup as a bullish opportunity, but not quite yet. All right, so as is the case every Monday, you get to trade with me this morning. We trade the open. Tried a few things here. I think the one that ended up being kind of the most disappointing was the CMRX. It just kept flipping really fast. So I'll show you. We had a mega gap on the CMRX. All right, big gap down, clearing recent support, not quite to all-time lows, but definitely oversized gap. So this one you could actually play long and short. End up doing both. However, only the short worked initially. So the short worked first. Okay, this was just a scalp because the level 2 looked good right there, and then immediately trailed almost right after the drop. And then it looked like it was going to potentially reverse there, so I did also try to scalp it long. Got an initial pop okay, but I was giving it a little bit more room. Ended up trailing it after the pop right underneath this base here, so killed it on this. Ended up being an okay trail because this actually went all the way back down, but it was enough to get back that initial move. So not very productive there on the CMRX. And that you can see what ended up happening, right? Because if you look at it here, ended up, while it did close at the lows, right, didn't really go anywhere. Okay, so CMRX kind of a mega gap, not much happened really on this. So, and the level 2 was kept flipping. It was really hard to rely on because it actually did look good at times. So sometimes we'll come across the level 2, it just doesn't even look noteworthy. Doesn't even look like it's worth trading. But this one actually looked good many times, either stacked on the bid or stacked on the offer, and then it would just kind of flip. So CMRX ended up being kind of a waste of time. The play that was nice was this DM. And if you like shakeouts, you like bases, yeah, you'll see this right here. Really, really nice, this DM setup here. And then we also had a daily that went a little climactic there towards the bottom and trying to transition. So yeah, this ended up being my nicest play this morning. Just let it kind of trail on its own. Did add to it when it finally broke $2. And this is a nice tight base after a shakeout, right? So only risking a penny there on that DM, and then got a nice little shake and then breakout. Okay, and then here all the way up until 204, till it broke 204, right? Stayed together penny by penny, so that was good. There was a nice play from James on the BGRY. Had a little, I couldn't get filled on this. I was also trying it a little bit late on the BGRY, but that had nice follow through. BGRY again. See how we have another base, shakeout, base, and then continuation. So different than the DM in direction, but in effectiveness. Nice attempt to break, and then right back into the base. So you see that breakout failure inside the base. All right, DM. All right, break down failure inside the base. This was a little bit earlier, so this was on the 1 minute attempt to break down, and then right back over the base. So it's a really nice way to set up a scalp. Now sometimes, it'll happen too where you're already in it, and then it shakes you out, and then you see the shakeout and you have to replay. That's pretty common, but I didn't even see this one, and so once I saw the shakeout, I was like, yep, that's good to try. And then a nice couple plays here on the CLM. First as a buy setup, 15-minute buy setup. Nice call out from James, and then Sammy also played the breakout later on here. So that was a nice little follow through there too. But I would say overall today, not that eventful of a day. It's pretty typical on a Monday without the market doing anything too dramatic. That's pretty typical for Mondays to be more on the quiet side. Okay, so you can see pretty narrow range for the Qs. Now, what used to be 1% moves during this, grind higher were kind of a big deal. Now we see, 3-4% moves, pretty common on a daily basis. So even though it says, we're down 1%, actually it was a pretty quiet day for the Qs and SPY. Okay, we still got earnings though, some this week. We're not quite out of earnings season entirely, so I think things will pick up. All right. As we kind of move forward into the week. And then we do have this pivotal sell setup that's forming on the Qs. And that's going to be kind of the main thing that I'm watching for on the Qs and SPY. Okay? All right. Hope you did well today, or at least stayed out of trouble. Be back at it tomorrow. I'll talk to you then. Have a good evening.